Alright, so today we are making Hainanese chicken. So we got the stock, we got the chicken rice, and we got the condiments. So without further ado, let's get at it. So what we have here is a whole chicken. I should give a viewer a voice warning if you're not comfortable with the whole chicken, with its head and everything. You can definitely use like chicken thighs or fourth of a chicken quarters. And the reason I like Cantonese cooking like the whole chicken is that we call this a yellow skin chicken. As you can see, it's a little bit more yellow than what you buy from the market, and it's better tasting and more tender and more rich on the flavor wise than the frozen chicken that you get from normal supermarket, normal grocery store. So we saw this at the Asian grocery store, and my wife said make Hainanese chicken, so that's what we are doing tonight. But of course, you can use chicken thighs or quarter of a chicken as well. If you do that, your time is gonna be less, so make sure you control that correctly. So what I do, I just get rid of the chicken feet and then get some of the fat out. We're gonna save that fat to make the Hainanese rice with, because we're going to render the fat out and use the fat to make the aromatics to also reaching out the flavor of the Hainanese rice. So we're going to take that to the bath. So here we're at the water, got it boiled, got some salt in there, ginger and scallion. Again, viewer discretion is advised. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the whole chicken by its head. It might be cool, but that's a reason for it. We're gonna dunk it in the water a couple times before we fully immerse it in. So 3 times, 4. Okay, the reason why I do that is kind of tensing up the skin, tightening up the skin. So we're gonna let the water come back to boil. So this is a pretty small chicken. We're gonna do around like 25 minutes with the water boiling. So once it comes back to a boil, we're gonna leave it there to boil around 25 minutes. Then turn the heat off and leave the chicken in another 25 minutes. So total of 15 minutes as a whole. And since we are going to use this water, the broth, as the water for the Hainanese rice as well. So we want that to have as much season as possible. So we put the chicken feet back in to get a bump off kind of thing going on, right? So we're gonna let that come back to a boil and then do 25 minutes. Turn off the heat with the lid on and then leave it for another 25 minutes before we pour it out. So while the chicken is in the water, we're gonna prepare the condiment. So mainly there's 3 condiments that is good to go with this. One is the ginger scallion dipping sauce that I'm making right now. So I find it much easier to peel ginger with a spoon like this. See how good it comes out. And also does not waste a lot compared to using the knife or like a peeler. So again, if you don't want to use the whole chicken, that's a great for you. If you don't want the whole chicken, you can use the whole chicken, which is fine. I find with the whole chicken, the whole chicken, the is about like 15 minutes. And then also 15 minutes to cook it off. So 15 minutes total, 15 minutes in the boiling water, boil for 15 minutes, and then cover it, and then let it do the thing in there for another 15 minutes, so 15 minutes total. So that's how from my experience, that's how the water is. So I'm not going to bore you with the winding and the process of that too much. So just let me find my cleaner. So let's go back to the top. Yeah, over here, right here. So what you want to do is want to grate a ginger here. And then cut up the scallion, and then add some salt and some oil, heated up oil, and then just put it on. Alright, so that's the ginger. Now with the scallion part, take the end out. Just fine sliced pieces. So yeah, a little bit messy. Gonna clean that up later, I promise. So what you have here is ginger and scallion. Gonna add a little salt. Like a half a teaspoon is good. So we're gonna heat up some oil and then splash it on. And this will make a great dipping sauce. Alright, so we got the oil heated up here. And then we're just gonna take it over. Carefully splash it on the scallion and the ginger mix. So this is gonna make a great dipping sauce. It's go well with everything, rice, chicken, you name it. Alright, so we're gonna right into the next one. What the next one is a sweet soy sauce dipping sauce. So what I have here is just equal part soy sauce and equal part, sorry, my bad. That's to get the sugar in, kind of stuck in there. So let me scoop that out. Turn down the heat a little bit. So as I was saying, we have equal part of light soy sauce and dark soy sauce. So about a teaspoon or two, a teaspoon and a half of each. And then we have a tablespoon of soy sauce and a tablespoon of dark soy sauce. And then we have like half a teaspoon of the Maggi seasoning also in there. And then we have 4 teaspoons of sugar. And also a half of a teaspoon of water. So again, that is 1 to 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, light soy sauce. So equal part dark and light. And then like a half of a teaspoon of Maggi seasoning. And then half of tablespoon of water and 4 teaspoons of sugar. So we're gonna let that simmer a bit. As this is not a thick enough dipping sauce, what we have here is a little sturdy water. It's just cornstarch with water, but I'm using the same spoon that I was mixing with, so we got some dark color here. So what we're gonna do is take around a half a teaspoon each time. Stir constantly to see if it's thick enough. Again, if you want to see if it's thick enough, if you're not confirmed, do the spoon test. See, that's clean. That should be good to go. Alright, so it is time to get the chicken out. So this chicken is really skinny. So I didn't do the whole 25 minutes and 25. I reduced it to 20 and 20 instead. So 20 minutes in the boiling water. And then close the lid. And then leave it there for another 20 minutes. Now I'm going to put it on the ice bath. So again, the reason for the ice bath is having it cool down. Also to get the skin nice and tight on there. So we're gonna leave it on the ice bath for around 3 minutes, like 3-4 minutes or so, 3 to 5 minutes. and then we're gonna take it out and then cut it for serving. Alright. Alright, so what we're doing here, we took the chicken fat that we saved from butchering the chicken. I have that slowly render in my pot here. I'm preparing to make the chicken wings. So I'm going to render the fat from this chicken to do the aromatics. So I'm gonna slowly let that do its thing. It will take around like 5 minutes to render out. As we come back, you will see this chicken skin and fat will turn to crispiness, and that's when you know it's all rendered out. Alright, so we got the fat rendered out. I didn't let it crispy, get the skin all crispy, because I already got enough fat here for what I need. So I got the aromatics in here, got the lemongrass, couple sides of ginger. I boost all them up to release all that flavor. So let that do a thing for about half a minute or so before adding the rest. For the rest of the aromatics, I'm sorry, we have scallion, 1 bulb of scallion, and then 4 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna add those in as well. Go fry that for about half a minute as well. Alright, lastly add the green onions. 1 green onion. Alright, so with the rice, I have equal parts water and rice. Not water actually, I use the chicken broth. So I have equal parts chicken broth and rice. I wash my rice, I have it all ready. So I'm gonna put it in. And I also added a little bit, like a teaspoon of chicken bouillon, and also half a teaspoon of salt to season it as well. So this is my rice mixture. Gonna get that in there. Alright. So we're going to cook this. It's about mostly around 10-15 minutes. Alright, so it has been around 5 minutes. So make sure you put the lid on. And also with the chicken stock, you want to skim out all the fat and residue, gunk and everything. So what I like to do is move it a little bit, not have it too burnt. We want some crispiness, but also not too burnt on the bottom. So around 5 minutes in, I will check it out. That's a little bit too hot right now, so I'm gonna put the lid back on. Put it on the back burner. This is a little bit lower flame. And gonna check back in about 5 more minutes. Alright, so I have it on the burner for additional 5 minutes on the small setting. And I also let it sit off the flame for another 5 minutes. So see what we got here. Wow, looking good. Alright, so perfectly cooked rice, and the whole house smells nice. So we got our rice ready. So we're gonna pick off the aromatics. So now we just need to carve out our chicken, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so we are back. So now we just left to carve out our chicken. So with carving out the chicken, you want to find the joint with everything. So right now, cutting the wings out. You can just leave the pieces as it is, like if you want to keep the thighs or you want to debone it. I usually debone it, but at least cut off the joints so it's easier to deal with. So we have the wings. The wings, I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Probably gonna do this right here. Alright. So if you do find a joint, everything will be much easier. Yeah, so this is a very, very tiny chicken. Even at 25 minutes each, still very dry. Not dry, but very cooked through. Come on, go away, kitty. It's not for you, kitty. Sorry, my cat just thinks she's getting chicken tonight, which is not the case, kitty. Not the case, Coco. Alright, so we split the thighs over here. This is the quarter chicken that I'm talking about. So, how I like to do it is I like to debone everything. So separate that first. Are you in my screen, Coco? Let me check. Are you in my screen? Are you in my screen, baby? Yep, you're in my screen. I don't think that's gonna pass health and regulation. Good thing we're only eating ourselves as a family. Gonna leave one for my wife. And gonna debone the rest. So with deboning, you have this deboning knife here. Since it's cooked, it's pretty easy to do so. Just follow the bones. To debone everything. Alright, so there's that. After you debone it, just slice it up. Got the thighs here. Debone that as well. And I'm warming up the stock as we speak. So you can have it as it is right now, which is kind of cool down. Or if you don't like it cold, you can also heat up the stock and do it that way. So instead of microwaving it, it would be pretty dry doing that way. So you can also heat up the stock and then use the stock to warm it up. So I will show you that in a bit after I get everything carved out. So even though the meat is very cooked thoroughly, it's still gonna be very tender. So I mean, give it a try. I mean, it's not the most appetizing looking chicken, as it's like the very pale looking and stuff like that. So that is not the most ideal looking wise, but believe me, this is gonna be some of the most tender chicken you will ever have. So what I like to do with the chicken breast, I just get my hands in there and then separate that out. Of course you can follow it with your knife, but I just found it easier with the hands to do it that way. So with the chicken breast. And here with the wishbone, see if it's intact or not. Cause the boys like to play with the wishbone, my son. So get that out of the way. Alright, so here's the wishbone for them. Why is it still there, Coco? You're not getting any chicken, you know that, right? Alright. So got a few pieces here still. So I'm not the best at carving everything. So, but it's a family situation. So nobody's gonna complain. Just debone the thigh, get the breast out, and we are good to go. So there we have it with the chicken. Gonna leave that here. Alright, so I'm gonna bring that to the back, to the stock, to show you what I'm talking about, to warm it up. Alright, so how we're gonna warm this up is that once we got the stock all warm up, just gonna put it on the chicken here. So this way you will heat up the chicken a little bit, but you won't overcook it. And then you drain off the excess broth. Of course you want to get the broth, use the handy dandy strainer to strain out the fat and everything else before that. And you can also use the broth to taste as well. So I'm gonna do that as well for my tasting. So that's it. Thank you.